Hi, everybody. I'm Byron. I'm reviewing another episode of Family Ties. Have gun, will unravel. It's the one where they get a gun. The family gets a gun because they were robbed. One thing I want to point out about this episode is it's the first one in a while that had a cold open. I think the pilot had a cold open, and it's this one that had a cold open. So far, those are the two that had a cold open. And the cold open was them coming back from a Beatles concert. Beatles were touring, so I guess must have been some sort of tribute concert with the Beatles. And the kids, of course, hate the Beatles. And it's been a while since I watched it. I haven't done these for a couple weeks, for about a week. It was about a week ago I watched it, and I haven't recorded. So I gotta remember. I don't remember if Jennifer liked it. Alex and Mallory couldn't stand them. Alex because they were hippies, and yes, I remember now. Jennifer did not like it because they didn't smash their guitars at the end. That's why Jennifer didn't like it. And so sorry, I just recognized some Chinese characters on my computer. Jennifer did not like it because they didn't smash the guitars. And Stephen goes, "How did we raise 3 kids that didn't care that Eleanor Rigby keeps her face in a jar by the door?" And Elise goes, "Probably the same way our parents raised kids who didn't care how Stella looked by starlight." So that might be the best joke in the episode. It's another serious but funny episode. And I have noticed a pattern where the jokes are concentrated towards the front. Very much concentrated towards the front. And, okay, so at the end of the cold open, they go in their room and they find out that they got robbed. And here's the thing. They weren't robbed. They were burgled. The difference between a robbery is done to your face, a burglary is done at night. And that's sort of relevant later because, as I said in this episode, they get a gun. And a gun is not going to stop a burglary. If there's a burglar in town, a gun isn't going to do anything because a burglar waits till you're gone. All he could do is take the gun. But anyway, and and there's a family meeting, which is funny because Jennifer wants to follow the rules of all the family meetings, but the parents just want to make this a family meeting just about the robbery, and they don't do the minutes. She was doing the minutes, and they said, "Let's skip the minutes. It's highly irregular." And so then they have that's it. This is the last meetings was they listed the stuff they were boycotting: Persian rugs and whale blubber. Okay. And so then they have a neighborhood meeting, which isn't quite as funny. The only thing I think it was supposed to be a joke, but it wasn't really funny. Is one of the neighbors doesn't say gun. He says we're going to get a GUN, as if it's a bad word. And anyway, they get a gun and they go to the sporting goods store to get a gun. A fine place to buy a gun, if you ask me. If you're going to get a gun, sporting goods store is as good a place as any. I usually go to a pawn shop. When I was shopping for a gun, I went to the pawn shop. I'll come back to my experience with guns later. And there's an old lady selling the guns. And it's funny because the old lady, she really likes guns. And it's just funny seeing an old lady fascinated by guns. And it's not abnormal. But it's still funny. Anyway, they have the gun. They tell the family, "We have a gun, so don't be alarmed by the gun." Whatever. I forget. But anyway, they come home. They're sleeping in bed, and they hear a noise in the basement. Not in the basement, downstairs. They're upstairs. They hear a noise downstairs. And Stephen gets the gun. And he goes down, and he's going, "Okay, I'm going to shoot the burglar." And he gets it, and it's not a burglar, it's Alex. And he goes, "Alex, you scared the daylight out of me. I was about to, and then he holds up his hand and reveals a tennis racket. And Alex goes, "You're gonna challenge me to a game of tennis?" And Steven realizes he was never ever gonna shoot anyone. And but Jennifer comes down, and she was excited by the prospect that Steven might have shot Alex. But they take the gun back, and that's the end of the story. Is they take the gun back. One thing I noticed, comparing this to the Nukes episode, they're more willing to compromise their principles on owning a handgun than of uh, their belief in total nuclear disarmament, which seems weird to me. I feel like it would be the opposite. You would back down on nuclear disarmament before you back down on the guns, on the personal ownership of guns. That's just to me what it seems like. Also, my experience with guns, they're very expensive. That's the reason I don't own one. They're too expensive. And anyway, that was this episode. I remember, this is one of the ones I remember from when I was a wee child, a real little kid. I think there were two others I remember from being a little kid. There was the Jennifer dance. What was the other one? Let me look at my notes. It might just be the Jennifer dance. Do 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 do. Yeah, it was just the Jennifer dance so far that I remember. That I remember having seen before, and there's two others I remember from when I was a kid. I will mention those when I get to them. Anyway, it's been fun. Bye.